Et on est back pour un nouvel épisode de MGS5. Et on enchaîne. 3h30 du matin, les gars. Je fais ça pour le peuple. Ça pour vous. Check la liste des missions principales. Et on n'a que celle-ci. Récupérer des photos. Non, récupérer des... Je sais plus, un objet, rapport à des photos, je sais pas. On a vu au début de la partie précédente. Finalement, on l'a pas fait. On va voir ça.
Please select a mission. Mission accepted. Heading to Afghanistan.
On se débartouille.
Deploying.
En espérant que ce soit pas trop compliqué.
Retrieve the film canister our informant hid in Spookmate Keep before he died. It contains vital information on Skullface's plan. For now, our only clue is the garbled photograph the informant tried to send us before the end. We're working on analyzing the data, but there's no time to wait. A KGB Spetsnaz squad is after the target as well. Boss, go to Spookmate Keep and use the VI to lead you to where the film canister is hidden. It is paramount you retrieve the target before the enemy does.
Ça sent la solution à planer, ça. C'est de faire lui-même, j'ai bien peur que... Alors du coup j'ai une photo. J'ai tellement pas de photos. Peut-être dans le récap de la mission. Ok. Oui, c'est ça, d'accord. Ouais. La map. Je devrais avoir une route sur ma droite. Faut que je suive cette route par là. C'est ça. Alors.
There's some high ground there. Just what you need for recon.
Bah c'est... C'est ce pilier là avec...
Analysis complete.
Oh non, ils sont sur cette fed. Oh non, je pourrais pas les endormir, je vais être obligé de les tuer.
You have arrived at your destination.
Oh là 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 là. Chiant. Waouh, putain, j'arrive jamais à eux à les enculer en fait, avec cette arme-là. Je pense que les balles ne sont pas assez... Il y a un truc de balles pénétrantes, genre. On va en chier, hein, je m'en vais.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. You have arrived at your destination.
Putain. Parce qu'en fait, si je dois tous les attaquer par derrière... Faut que je l'attrape, lui. Ouais, mais il joue trop smart.
Enemy presence detected.
Faut que j'aille au pompe. Faut que j'aille au pompe. Faut que je change mon style. Faut que j'aille au pompe. C'est pas ça. J'ai request un pompe, mais mes pompes sont pas améliorées. Mes pompes ne sont pas améliorées. J'ai pas les chaussures de course. Arme. Chose avec une pénétration de fou. Ce que j'ai, c'est une pénétration de zinzin, mais... En vrai, il n'y a pas un pompe qui est meilleur que ça. Là, c'est le lance-greux. Mitrailleuse.
Please supplies
Ouais, c'est
requested.
avec une mitrailleuse, je sais pas. De toute façon, s'il faut se la donner, on va se la donner. Hein.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been supply drop complete.
Pardon? Voilà deux. Ou alors il me faudrait Coyette. On va prendre Coyette.
Please select a deployment point. Dispatch requested.
On va voir.
Buddy, departing area of the map has been updated. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Mais attends, il a pas le même stuff là.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Buddy has arrived at Snipe. You have arrived at your destination.
La photo ça ressemble à ici genre. Mais c'est pas ici. Le truc à gauche. La mer.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Открыть подавляющий минометный огонь по цели! Прием! Дмитрий 2, что случилось? Ответьте, Дмитрий 2! У нас проблема. Тревога по всем постам.
Ici. Donc à gauche, il y a une arche à droite.
КП, Дмитрий 6! Мы потеряли вражеского снайпера. Остаемся на чеку. Прием! КП, понял. Будьте наготове. Конец связи.
Je suis plus silencieux.
Boss, we fully decrypted the VI data. Now the target's hiding place should be clear as day. Check your iDroid.
Alors il y a une petite arche à gauche, une grande arche au milieu. Petite arche à gauche, grande arche au milieu. Et un pilier. Ça va être comme ça, mais on voit pas l'autre de derrière. C'est de l'autre côté. C'est pas de ce côté. Pas possible. C'est genre. Je suis trop mauvais. Breath of the Wild, j'avais rage quit ma première run à cause de ça. Et le tout petit pilier. Mais c'est celui-là. trop nul les gars. J'ai envie d'ouvrir les veines. Attends, vas-y. Sérieusement. Sérieusement. Il y a une grande arche qui est en avant et une petite arche avec un poteau cassé. Il faut trouver une arche avec un poteau. C'est celle-là. C'est ça. C'est ça. Donc c'est là. Ah.
You've completed your objective. Now get out of the hot zone.
Mission info has been updated.
Vas-y les gars.
Please select a landing zone. Development project support helicopter
Roger.
requested.
Tellement nul.
Enemy presence detected. The map is
Non mais
well
bon, c'est vrai quand il y avait la mission des photos, j'avais rage quit parce que je pensais que j'avais pas compris que c'était pas obligatoire, c'était que pour le trou ending. Et du coup j'étais resté stuck là, j'arrivais pas à trouver. Et il y en avait trop, il y en avait genre 5, je sais plus. Bref. Du coup ça m'avait dégoûté du jeu, j'avais rage quit ma première run sur ça et j'ai recommencé le jeu 3 ans après, puisque je l'ai fait pendant le confinement. Et que je l'avais acheté Day One. Switch, c'est la deuxième console que j'ai eu Day One dans ma vie après la 3DS. J'ai toujours eu les consoles en décalé, vu que je suis pauvre. Quand les gens jouaient à la NES, je jouais à l'Atari 2600. Quand les gens jouaient à la Super NES, je jouais à la Master System. Quand les gens jouaient à la Play, je jouais à la Super NES. Quand les gens jouaient à la Play 2, non quand même pas. J'ai eu la Play. À peu près dans les temps. Par contre, quand les gens jouaient à la Play 2, je jouais toujours à la Play 1. Quand les gens jouaient à la Play 3, j'ai acheté une Play 2. Quand les gens jouaient à la Play 4, j'ai acheté une Play 4. Non, Play 3, je l'ai eu avant la Play 4. Play 4, je l'ai eu 2-3 ans après la sortie. Et Play 5, je l'ai eu 2 ans après la sortie.
Mission complete.
Les consoles portables, un peu la même histoire. La Game Boy, je l'ai eu Frame 1. Game Boy Color, j'ai pas eu. Game Boy Advance, je l'ai eu en 2004. Je sais pas en quelle année elle est sortie. 2002 peut-être, non. Je l'ai eu en 2000. Ouais, c'était 2004 ou 2005 2004. DS. J'ai eu des années après la sortie. J'ai dû l'avoir en 2000. Je l'ai acheté en 2009. 3DS, j'ai eu Frame 1. 3DS, je l'ai même eu avant la sortie, peut-être. Alors, allez, 4 cassettes. On met ça direct au placard.
Feeling hungry, old timer? Old. I do not get up. You guessed it. Who ever heard of? Yeah, but you gotta stay fresh. Just give it a
5 minutes.
But I cannot. I thought we were on this. Maybe the problem is gotta think out too much bad. Let's see. Can't just you really think people?
J'ai l'impression que c'est collé, je comprends pas.
Well, actually, you are all the one seems to like the ocelot said you don't. What? No. Our still. Let's not say Mary Kazuhira. It takes more than premium ingredients.
Il détourne des pimes.
Clever recipe. Okay. Chemical. There is nothing with the tongues. Therefore, to be that seems to not and you in see when we follow agree. But through whether it's a mass the same is still sometimes so in looking it is also alternate. What is it? Yeah, you're thanks all. You really up. I fooled myself into thinking people today, but what they want is something like the first burger I had in America. Frankenburger. That's the America. I'll be back in it. My next burger's gonna... Kazuhit, what is important for a one? Frank, what kind of a dive did your old man take you to?
Super. Et ici, on a quelque chose d'important.
We finished decoding the informant's report. That floating kid we've run into a few times now. Looks
Ok,
like he was a test subject in
psychomantis. En tout
clinical
cas,
experiments. The
soit
Soviets called him the third boy. The third boy
Ok.
was brought to a lab on the outskirts of Moscow from Czechoslovakia, after which he
troisième
was due
gosse,
to be
donc c'est...
sent to a
Attends,
research
mais en
center
fait,
in
psychomantis
Leningrad,
c'était un
then
gosse avec nous, je me
Siberia,
rappelle pas
and
de ça.
finally an academic town in
Il
Novosibirsk.
faisait partie de...
It doesn't appear that the researchers witnessed the talents we've seen from
Pas du
him, but
projet
nevertheless
des
he was
enfants
quite
terribles,
the
mais...
popular subject. His
C'était un des
latent
sujets.
cognitive abilities suddenly awoke en route to Moscow. According to the report,
Après, est-ce que c'est
the
vraiment
third
lui? On
boy
sait
was
pas, mais...
easily influenced by other individuals' biofields. Evil thoughts, in particular. They affected his mind like a virus. Extreme anger or resentment, motives for revenge, in other words. Now, during the transport flight to Moscow, the boy was exposed to a powerful mental energy field coming from a certain individual. Ever since, being conscious of his powers, he's become a sort of energy generator. What's unique about him is the way his acute telepathic abilities get taken over by another person's will. The boy began to physically parasitize individuals experiencing
Du coup, pas trop la cam sur ce
extreme
let's play,
anger and
malheureusement,
codify the
désolé,
host's
mais comme je fais tout
desires.
ça en off, je suis
This
allongé
includes
dans mon lit,
amplifying
et
the
ça...
host's natural strengths. Or, in accordance
Pas
with
dans
the
mon lit,
host's
mais sur ma
desires,
chaise,
he
les
can
pieds sur le
also
bureau, quoi, t'as
implant
compris.
program code in another individual, making them a puppet, essentially. Human neural synapses transmit weak electrical currents between neurons. These electrical currents, though at a level difficult to observe, warp the magnetic field outside the body. The third boy is able to pick up these weak fluctuations. Contrary to psychotronics, which involves controlling the human mind, his abilities as a receptor are too high. The emotions he picks up from another individual are amplified and unleashed into his body as they recur in his brain. They turn into microwaves, which then affect the physical world, triggering paranormal phenomena like the spontaneous combustion of organic matter or psychokinesis, moving an object without touching it. There's one other thing. While he's parasitizing a host, the boy's ego gets shut away, allowing the will of the host to take control of his powers, like some annoying static drowning out your own voice. That means he isn't responsible for what's been happening. Somebody's extreme anger has manifested through the third boy's powers in ways none of us could have predicted, which would mean this was going on somewhere around us. Looking back on it, a lot of things make sense now. The man on fire, Sahelanthropus, they both came to life thanks to the third boy's powers. Everything has been happening through him as a catalyst. We first saw him in the hospital on Cyprus. The boy parasitizing the man on fire's desire for revenge gave him his new abilities in return. He next appeared at the Hamid Fighters Fort where the honeybee was hidden. There, the boy parasitized Skullface's vengeful mind. He controlled Sahelanthropus, making it do whatever Skullface wanted. Same goes for when we extracted Emmerich.
Ok, donc en gros, c'est Psychomantis enfant qui a redonné vie, entre guillemets, à Volgin sous forme d'homme de feu, entre guillemets, en fait. Tout comme il l'a fait avec le Metal Gear. Comment il s'appelle, le... Je sais plus. Mais tout comme il a fait avec le Metal Gear de MGS5 qui était pas terminé et il lui a donné vie. C'est ça en fait. Et en gros, il était sous forme de feu parce qu'il a brûlé quand il l'a rencontré dans le labo des soviets. En gros, c'est ça. Aïe.
Chopper. When he appeared at the Devil's House in Central Africa, Skullface's will controlled the man on fire via the third boy's powers. Everything is clear up to this point. But even the informant couldn't pinpoint who the host was in the cave within Serac power plant. Sahelanthropus suddenly became active, then crushed not only the man on fire, but Skullface as well. Surely neither of them could have been the host. Who else was at that location and bore anger more extreme than either of them? Whose will was controlling Sahelanthropus? According to the report, emotions transmitted in children's brains affect the surrounding magnetic field more strongly. Cerebral nerves are covered with insulation called myelin sheaths to increase impulse speed. The reason for this leakage has to do with the fact that children's myelin sheaths are still developing. So, how many children do you remember being there? Children with a burning desire for revenge and bearing a grudge against you. I can think of only one. Eli. We don't know what kind of life he's had, but the resentment he's shown toward adults is nothing short of extraordinary. The third boy resonated with Eli's mind. And that means Eli bore the strongest animosity of all individuals within the boy's reception range, estimated to be in the children with a burn. So, the reason for this cerebral nerves are covered with the reason for this leakage. So, children with a burning desire. I can think of only one. Eli. We don't know what kind of life he's had, but the third boy resonated with Eli, and that means Eli bore the strongest animosity of all, estimated to be a 3-mile radius. Beating out the third boy's probably remained hooked on Eli's anger since. Remember at the Devil's House, the third boy showed an interest in Shabani? That must have been his ego making a rare appearance. He may possess abilities far beyond anyone else in the world, but he's still a kid. Maybe them both being kids was enough to bring them together. And if so, maybe with Eli, he isn't feeding off him, but acting in symbiosis with him. So what kickstarted the third boy's powers? If we look at the location and time that his plane went down, we can make a pretty good guess. When the plane experienced the first anomaly, it gave an accurate report of its position to a control tower, due north of the Black Sea, 125 miles east of Kiev. Dead south on the Black Sea is Cyprus's Green Line. So the plane's position was directly north of the hospital where you'd been asleep for 9 years. And this anomaly was reported at exactly the same time that you woke up. The plane was enveloped in flame from the inside out. The fuselage burnt to ashes. There were no survivors, at least not publicly admitted. Your thoughts formed a synchronicity with the boy's psyche and were amplified inside his brain. That would have been more than enough to trigger his abilities. Your rage was like a big bang in his head, blowing the lid off his powers.
Ah ouais. Ok, donc en fait, en gros, quand on s'est réveillé de l'hôpital au début du jeu, on était tellement sous les nerfs, enfin sur les nerfs, que Psychomantis, qui était dans un avion pas loin de l'hôpital, a ressenti toute cette haine et ça a débloqué ses pouvoirs. Et maintenant, il transmet cette haine à Liquid. Kojima, Kojima, Kojima. Merde.
Secretly moved to the lab outside of Moscow where
Compliqué cette
Volgin was
affaire.
comatose. There, Volgin's thoughts resonated with the boy and he was awakened. Volgin became the man on fire, hell-bent on getting revenge on you. His instincts led him straight to you. Skullface knew Volgin from Operation Snake Eater, or perhaps from even before.
Ok.
Monitoring this pair of extraordinaries, he discovered the hospital and sent his assassin and XOF. Skullface was probably watching the situation from close by. Then, realizing how useful these two test subjects could be, he approached them. Reacting to Skullface's thirst for revenge, this time the boy let Skullface's will control Volgin. Volgin, at times driven by personal revenge, at times through Skullface's will, kept on moving, though his body was little more than dead meat. Perhaps there were moments where even your thoughts affected him as well. But without the boy's power, it was like the plug had been pulled from the socket.
Là, vous me balancez toute l'histoire, les gars. Au bout d'un
Realizing how useful
moment.
these two test subjects could be, he approached them. Reacting to Skullface's thirst for revenge, this time the boy let Skullface's will control Volgin. Volgin, at times driven by personal revenge, at times through Skullface's will, kept on moving, though his body was little more than dead meat. Perhaps there were moments where even your thoughts affected him as well. But
Ok.
without the boy's power, it was like the plug had been pulled from the
Donc
socket.
Volgin était
Everything
manipulé
was
par
powered
le
by
petit,
anger,
par Psychomantis,
malice, revenge.
qui lui-même était influencé
This is
soit
how
par
the
ma
end of
colère,
the report sums things up.
dans l'hôpital par exemple,
Both the third
soit par
boy
celle de
and the man on
Skullface.
fire were originally test subjects of paranormal research for military applications. Like
En fait, c'est
telekinetic.
marrant parce qu'il parle de Liquid, il parle de Ellie, il parle du troisième garçon, mais jamais il parle du premier garçon. Celui sur lequel le test a réussi, comme on l'apprend dans MGS1. Parce que Liquid est un clone raté, entre guillemets.
Experimenting with latent human abilities. They were used as tools of the Cold War. The boy's only crime was being born with unique gifts. But he was sacrificed on the altar of war. His life reduced to slavery under other people's wills. Turned into a living weapon with no will of his own. And eventually the only emotion he could feel must have been the desire to get revenge for the hand he'd been dealt. Boss, it's you that awakened the boy's powers. But there's
Ouais,
more
c'est
to it than
Matrix.
that. I guess the anger emanating from you was something he could truly relate to.
C'était quoi la dernière phrase? J'ai pas suivi.
So what kickstarted the third boy's powers? If when the dead said that
J'ai pas suivi, désolé. Je suis en train de réfléchir.
It's, I guess, the anger emanating from you.
Ouais.
Was something he could truly relate to.
Ok. Bon. On est à 36 minutes. Bon bah bonne nuit hein, franchement. Franchement bonne nuit hein. Ah me drop le lore dans des cassettes comme ça, je crois que ça sera un traumatisme éternel quand on m'évoquera la licence Metal Gear.
Unit dispatched.
Mec, tu drop
Unit
le
dispatched.
lore dans des cassettes quoi.
Unit dispatched.
Pitié. Vraiment,
Please select
je
a
suis
mission.
chelou quoi. Guerre sans fin par procuration.
The CFA are gearing up for a large-scale attack against Angola's MPLA
La
government.
colonne blindée.
They're assembling an armored column to the north of Nova Braga Airport and will be ready to move soon. We've been contracted by the MPLA to put a stop to them. But the civil war will keep burning on, whether we
Ça a l'air
accept
d'être
this
une
job
mission
or
de sacrée
not.
envergure ça.
Another East-West proxy war with the communist MPLA on one side and the capitalist-funded CFA on the other. An endless seesaw of blood and violence played out in the hands of the superpowers. I had my doubts at first, but I think we should take this job. Skullface is gone, but Cypher still remains. Competition with rival PFs will only get more intense. For us to survive, we need to expand our organization and get strong enough that no one can threaten us.
5h30 du matin,
So
il
our
est
only
déjà
option is
4h.
to fight and grow.
On va finir à
And fight
4h30.
and grow.
Ça va m'envoyer à 5h30.
Mission accepted. Heading
On
to
va
Central
se contenter de
Africa.
ça et aller dormir. Et demain, je vais peut-être finir tout ça en stream. Ça pourrait être pas mal. On va prendre elle. Allez.
Deploying.
Fox World are ends. J'ai envie de continuer, mais vas-y, j'ai plus à quelle heure.
The CFA are assembling an armored column to the north of Nova Braga Airport. Your job is to wipe them out. Listen to the tape for the contract details. Just be aware that the column's commander served with 5 Commando and later made a name for himself in South Africa's 32 Battalion. He's a hardened veteran, so don't take him lightly. Boss, I have a report from the intel team. The targets are now on the move. I've sent their predicted route to your iDroid. Check your map. Be careful down there, boss.
Not this one updated.
Eliminate the target. How you do it is your call.
J'ai éliminé toutes les cibles là. C'est pas ce que je voulais faire, mais... C'est Colette qui chante.
Boss, we have new targets. Check your iDroid for the details. Flawless work. You never cease to amaze, boss.
Clouds approaching.
J'aurais peut-être dû prendre le cheval pour cette mission. Elle a servi à rien. Je vais chanter une chanson mystique dans les oreilles.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Nice work, boss.
Il en reste 3 parce que
Targets
je
are
peux le
almost
faire avec
history.
3. Franchement, si c'est que ça, c'est nice.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Ah, ça va être compliqué.
Detected. The map has been updated.
Ça va bien. Sur 5.
Just one target left.
Ouais. Elle est où la target? Je veux bien. Hein. Je suis tout hein.
Please select a drop point. Supplies requested. Supply drop complete.
Eliminate the target.
Mais elle est où la cible?
The target has started to move. You can check the predictive route on your iDroid.
Bah. Ah.
Marker placed.
Franchement, si c'est que ça, c'est carré de baiser. Ça fait plaisir une petite mission comme ça, pas trop compliquée, qui change en plus de... Ah. Ah. Ok, j'ai compris.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Please supplies requested.
That's an enemy gunship. Don't try to take down a gunship from the front. You won't win in a head-to-head
Supply
shootout.
drop
Try to get
complete.
behind it and take it down with missiles.
C'est un petit peu greedy peut-être.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Guard post captured. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Non mais non, mais t'es censé mourir là mon frère.
Nice work. Keep it
Attends
up.
qu'il tombe pas sur le coin de la gueule.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
You completed the objective.
Mission
Now get out of
ending.
there.
Guard post. Please select support helicopter
T'es en plus,
requested.
c'est nickel. Une très belle mission. C'est toujours pas MGS, mais une très belle mission. Ah, c'est cool. En plus, maintenant, je maîtrise vraiment le gameplay, les ravitaillement, demande de munitions, demande de support aérien, de soutien aérien, demande de largage de missiles. Donc c'est cool. C'est cool, c'est cool. 48 minutes. Ah. Yeah. Yeah. 48 minutes. Yeah. Faut pas être dormir à 50 minutes de VOD sur MGS.
This is B Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is B Quad. On station at LZ. Gaining altitude.
Là, t'en montes pas, là, c'était bien. Parce qu'elle montait, mais il n'y avait pas le lot du coup. Le lot utilisé.
Exfiltrated hot
Alright,
zone.
you're out of the hot zone. No enemy forces in pursuit.
Nice.
Mission
Nice,
complete.
nice, nice. C'est carré, c'est carré.
Warning!
C'est carré, c'est carré. C'est carré, c'est carré.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Mission complete and how?
Ah, S là quand
They're
même.
gonna tell stories about this one.
Ouais.
Boss, as we suspected, the mastermind behind the kid's escape was Eli.
Frérot, tu mets
It's hard
4
to
heures pour
believe,
comprendre ça,
but
une
apparently
game.
he'd been plotting an armed uprising against us. He could be hiding something else too. Ocelot's gonna press him for answers. Get back here as quick as you can.
Ok. Bon. Donc, on retourne à Mother Base. Ok.
Where is he? Told you. Your father's not here.
They're back.
Ton père n'est
Yes,
pas là.
they're back. But don't get any bright ideas. Your quarters are under full surveillance. Your weapons privileges have been suspended. No more uprisings for you.
Donc ça veut dire que, genre lui, il sait que son père c'est Big Boss pendant que Solid Snake est au courant de rien, quoi.
You'll get your boys back. Hell, even see the boss too. But first, I need to know what you sent them to do.
They wanted to leave.
To their homelands.
They wanted to go home. That's all.
So they were just homesick then.
Not quite. Militia warlords, PFs, the armies that murdered their families. Cousins, brothers, parents. They all had someone they wanted to kill. I told them, last chance to face the world with no regrets.
Last chance.
You better be ready for your drag back here. Ready to face the world as enemies.
No!
Fuck.
I'm not like you!
Il y a un accent british.
Goodbye, father. I don't need you anymore.
Et il quitte pas dans le Metal Gear. Contrôlé par Experiences. Les gosses ont pris un montage. Waouh. Putain, mais pourquoi le jeu c'est pas ça? Pourquoi le jeu ce n'est pas ça? Wesh, il vole le frère.
Was Ralph really an accident? Or did Eli just rig it to stir up the boys? Either way, he had to have been
j'avoue.
planning for this all along. Bidding farewell to the world.
Bah ça va être le dernier acte, hein, j'imagine. Ça va être le dernier acte. Récupérer le Metal Gear. Ou le détruire définitivement. On peut pas tuer les gosses, donc je sais pas ce qu'on va en faire. Et
Boss, we're looking for the kids in Sahelanthropus, but there's still no sign of them.
ouais.
We don't know if the chopper pilot is alive either. What have we gone and put in the hands of those kids? We don't know how bad this is until we find them. Also, regarding our concerns about Eli, I finished looking into whether or not he's a product of that project. I have an answer. I put it on tape. Give it a listen.
Ok. Là, ça va
Boss,
être intéressant.
I've updated the mission list. We've received some new job offers. The details are on your
Ça va
iDroid.
être intéressant. Objectif de Skullface. Bah, on va se finir comme ça, je pense, du coup.
Real name unknown. Born in Hungary, more specifically northern Transylvania,
Okay.
after it reverted to Hungary from Romania. While he was young, the country allied with Germany as part of the Axis powers, but later
Ça arrête
during
là-dessus,
the
je
war,
continuerai
they came
demain
under
certainement en
Soviet
stream.
occupation. The Hungarians struggled for independence, but the Soviets came down. Hard. Just like he said, time and again the country was ruled by a foreign tongue. When he was a young boy, he lost his native language, the bedrock for any developing child. His country, his family, his face, his identity, everything was stolen from him. All he had left was his skull. Skullface first tried his hand at espionage during all the chaos from the war. Agents, military officials, and soldiers who operated out of Hungary during the war vanished over the course of several months. This Soviet spy hunt rocked the counter-intel world. Mysterious fatal illnesses, accidental deaths, drownings, people having strokes behind closed doors. Just like Stalin, no one knew who was behind it. But all you need to do was look for who had the motive. They were all taken out by a man without a face. And now we've got an idea of how he did it too. He'd gotten revenge for his people, but he wasn't finished. Skullface defected to the West, eventually ended up with the SAS. That's where he met Zero. It's possible he began planning this whole thing back then. It's hard to say. In any case, Zero made him his XO. He always did have a thing for oddballs. But this one was set to lead a unit no one else would know about. When Zero created Fox, he also formed XOF as a support team. An unconventional special force as a Zero, but this one was set. He always did have a thing for oddballs. In any case, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. It's possible he began planning. It's hard to say. In any case, Zero made him his XO. He always did have a thing for oddballs. But this one was set to lead a unit no one else would know about.
Les frères, arrêtez de dire ton gueule. Je parle. Putain. Ça, quand je parle. Quand j'écoute du lore intéressant. Casse les couilles, putain. Ah, mais c'était où? Le test ADN, putain, c'est ça qu'il faut que j'écoute.
When Zero created, but this one, he always did have a thing for oddballs. But when Zero created Fox, he also formed XOF, but he always did have a thing for oddballs. But this one was set to lead a unit no one else would know about.
Et donc voilà,
When
il a
Zero
créé
created Fox, he also
il a
formed
créé l'unité miroir.
XOF as a support team. An unconventional special forces unit designed to support Fox, make it stronger.
Ouais.
With Skullface giving the orders.
Ok.
Zero never even told the boss about it. Nor the CIA, naturally.
Normal.
If Fox was Zero's silver bullet, XOF was the recoil when he pulled the trigger. Just like Newton's third law. While you were with Fox, Skullface was operating behind the scenes.
Ok, donc depuis MGS3,
Sometimes as your backup, sometimes as a mole or a scout, sometimes as your cleanup crew. Fox's tale, making sure the mission succeeded and that you survived.
à quel moment ça a
We only
vrillé?
have his word to go on, but Skullface's goal was revenge against those who'd use language to subjugate people. Those corrupting a people's identity by forcing a new tongue on them. Those using the power of language to control information. Naturally, that set his sights on Zero. To Zero, English was simply the most convenient code. But to Skullface, English was a parasite. And by eradicating it, he'd stop the world from being eaten away. If that didn't work, he was ready to see the world scorched by nuclear fire. To save
Zero, il est
language,
mort.
culture, and race from
J'ai pas capté ça.
annihilation. He
Pas trop
was
suivi
willing
cette
to
affaire.
overstep the hands of the doomsday clock. That is, of course, if you believe
Ouais.
anything he had to say.
Très intéressant cette affaire. Ok.
Boss, we've got the results of Eli's genetic test.
Je vais-
We can
je
finally
vais tout
put this
casser.
word.
Je suis sur les nerfs, les gars. Il est 4h30 du matin, je n'en peux plus là.
Behind us. We use the PCR technique and conducted
PCR.
DNA fingerprinting of the copied DNA sequences.
On connaît ça, les tests
Neither
spéciaux.
is mainstream science yet, but the concepts and procedures are sound. Both tests say there is 0% chance that the two of you are blood relatives, meaning the results are negative. He's not your son, nor is he your clone. He's just another person.
It was 12 years ago that Zero made plans to clone you.
Ouais.
Eli's age and appearance certainly are a good fit. I admit the first time I saw him, I did a double take. But it looks like we were worried
En fait, je
for
sais
nothing.
pourquoi.
Eli isn't your clone.
Mais parce que c'est un clone
You might
raté.
still have one somewhere out there.
But if Eli isn't the boss's clone, why does he seem so obsessed with
C'est un
him?
clone raté de Big
Not to
Boss.
mention having one hell of an attitude for his age.
I don't know. Learning the truth about himself, cursing the fact he's a clone, bearing a grudge against selfish adults.
C'est ça qu'ils m'ont
coming to
dit dans
hate who he was
MGS1.
cloned from.
Liquid.
Big boss. If that were really the case, I could understand it. I might even feel a bit sorry for him. But no clone could have a totally different DNA fingerprint. And the test left no room for error. You yourself were there when we drew Eli's blood sample.
Come to think of it, when we went to OKB-0, he'd snuck onto a chopper and was there.
Yeah.
He was acting strange even then. Or actually from a little before that time.
That was exactly when we began these tests.
Maybe he suspected something when we drew the sample, not knowing what we were doing to him, and becoming mistrustful of us.
Hard to say. Eli's had an attitude problem from day one.
So what is he then?
Well, if he's going to tell us that himself, we'll need to get him to open up more
Comment dire que
first.
c'est un peu... Ça va être un peu compliqué de le détendre, le bug.
You know, when you brought back all the child soldiers who escaped, Eli knew they'd returned. Needless to say, nobody said a word to him.
I guess they got a message to him somehow.
Eli wasn't put in a corner in timeout. He was locked up in that room, completely cut off from the outside world.
Then how'd he find out?
There's only one possibility I can think
Il
of.
parle par
The
télépathie avec
Soviet Union
psychomantis,
has
non?
been researching military applications for psi phenomena.
Psi?
Things like psychokinesis and ESP,
Caution.
extrasensory
PES?
perception.
Je vois que
You
tu
mean
joues
moving
beaucoup à
objects without
PES.
touching them? Knowing what cards somebody's holding up? Psychic powers? Come on. I thought that was just another bunch of disinformation aimed at the West.
Just bear with me a second. One type of ESP is telepathy. It's the ability to know another person's thoughts through nonverbal means.
You're saying Eli read our minds?
It's the only idea that doesn't involve some...
Awesome.
Look, psi research isn't some hocus pocus. It's all evidence-based.
There's gotta be another explanation. Maybe one of the kids stuck a note to you.
I hope that's the case. But I am convinced that they have, or Eli has. You better watch yourself, boss.
Ça a lu
How
les
am I
pensées de
supposed to do
Slot.
that?
If he is depending on... Well, that's his kill. You can figure out what that something is.
I'll keep that.
Oh, and the medical team is looking. For the moment, they don't seem too... But boss, get this. Eli got those kids to plot their armed uprising. Also, he could steal Sahelanthropus. That Brad got it. Set us up. And then there's that mystery kid who... Those two working together, I'd say things won't be over
Ok,
for a
oh
long
non,
time
le
yet.
retour des burgers. Le burger ultime.
Rise and shine, old-timer.
2 minutes
It is
37.
complete.
I had our best and I call it one.
Now, don't go on.
What? Oh, I get that. Sure, it's loaded with that. Come on.
Are you fine?
Well, what do you think?
It's right. The neon signs on the mud.
So, and it doesn't just taste great because it's pumped up with preserve or this bad boy could even excuse people who no longer fight. Mankind will come to forget Pax Americana. Skullface thought that destruction was the way to free the people, tackling something head on. Only by you not having lived as an American. The chemical burger? No, I've got to run, old-timer. I'll catch you later.
Ok les amis, bref, on va s'arrêter là-dessus. Je vais récupérer tous les trucs, je vais déployer des unités, comme ça va le faire.
Please select a mission.
I can't, ok. Liste secondaire. On n'a rien de plus. Et liste des missions
Please select a
principales.
mission.
On n'a rien de plus, ça veut dire qu'on va devoir aller faire une mission secondaire et que ça va nous déclencher une cutscene. J'imagine. Mais tout ça, on verra ça là. Hein? C'est qui lui?
Boss, how about the buildings?
C'est un joueur en ligne. Je sais rien. J'ai pas compris là pourquoi il y a écrit ça.
Analysis complete.
Personnel MB. Ah non, c'est un mec de la Mother Base. Je sais pas pourquoi il est...
Marker placed.
Bref, on s'arrête là les amis. Je fais des bisous. Je vous retrouve demain pour une nouvelle vidéo. J'espère que vous avez apprécié. Prenez soin de vous et à demain. Ciao ciao.